The arrival. The first sign of trouble came on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Dr. Elena Kovacs, lead astronomer at the Global Space Observation Network, GSON, was reviewing data from the network's array of powerful telescopes when she noticed an anomaly. A cluster of objects, moving at impossible speeds, was approaching the outer edges of our solar system. Elena's heart raced as she double-checked her calculations. There was no doubt about it. These were not natural phenomena. She reached for her comm unit with trembling hands. "Director Yamamoto, we have a situation. You need to see this immediately." Within hours, the GSON headquarters was buzzing with activity. Scientists, military personnel, and government officials from around the world converged on the facility, all trying to make sense of the data streaming in from their sensors. Director Kenji Yamamoto stood at the center of the storm, his usually calm demeanor strained as he addressed the assembled crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I won't sugarcoat this. We are dealing with an extraterrestrial presence, and they're heading straight for Earth." A hush fell over the room, followed by an explosion of voices. Questions, theories, and fears bounced off the walls until Yamamoto raised his hand for silence. "I know you all have questions, but right now we need to focus on gathering information and preparing for any possible scenarios. Dr. Kovacs, please brief us on what we know so far." Elena stepped forward, her holographic display flickering to life. "The objects we've detected are artificial in nature, exhibiting controlled movements and using some form of propulsion we can't yet understand. Based on their current trajectory and speed, they'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. The room erupted in murmurs again. 72 hours. Just 3 days to prepare for a potential alien invasion. General Sarah Hawthorne, representing the United Earth Defense Force, spoke up. "Have we detected any attempts at communication from these visitors?" Elena shook her head. "Nothing yet, General. They're maintaining radio silence." "That's not a good sign," Hawthorne muttered. "We need to assume hostile intent and prepare accordingly." As the meeting progressed, plans were made and orders were given. The world's militaries were put on high alert, and scientists worked around the clock to analyze the approaching fleet. Meanwhile, governments struggled with how to break the news to the public without causing widespread panic. In the end, they couldn't keep it secret for long. Amateur astronomers and conspiracy theorists had already noticed the anomalies, and social media was abuzz with speculation. 24 hours after Elena's initial discovery, world leaders addressed their nations simultaneously. The response was predictably chaotic. Some people rushed to stockpile supplies, while others took to the streets in celebration or protest. Religious leaders proclaimed the end times, and UFO enthusiasts claimed vindication. But beneath the surface of panic and excitement, a steely resolve began to take hold. Humanity had faced existential threats before, from world wars to climate disasters, and had always found a way to persevere. This would be no different. In New Delhi, a team of engineers led by Dr. Rajesh Patel worked feverishly to repurpose the city's experimental atmospheric cleansing towers into a makeshift planetary defense grid. The towers, designed to filter pollutants from the air, could potentially be modified to create a powerful electromagnetic field. "If we can generate a strong enough pulse," Rajesh explained to his team, "we might be able to disrupt their navigation systems or even disable their ships entirely." Meanwhile, in a secret facility beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team of quantum physicists made a breakthrough that could change everything. "We've done it," Samantha exclaimed, her eyes wild with excitement and lack of sleep. "We've managed to stabilize the quantum entanglement field. If this works, we'll be able to instantaneously transmit data and potentially even matter across vast distances." As the hours ticked by, similar scenes played out across the globe. Human ingenuity and determination were on full display as people from all walks of life contributed to the defense effort. Hackers worked to strengthen Earth's cybersecurity, while farmers and botanists collaborated on ways to protect food supplies in case of a prolonged conflict. In orbit, the International Space Station was transformed into a forward observation post. Commander Yuki Tanaka and her crew worked tirelessly to fortify the station and prepare it for possible combat operations. "We're humanity's first line of defense," Yuki told her crew during a brief moment of respite. "Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Back on Earth, as the 72-hour mark approached, a tense calm settled over the planet. People gathered with loved ones, watched the skies, and waited. In homes, bunkers, and command centers around the world, all eyes were fixed on monitors and view screens, watching for the first sign of the alien fleet. At GSON headquarters, Elena Kovacs hadn't left her post for days. She stared at her screens, monitoring every blip and signal. Suddenly, a series of alerts flashed across her display. "Director Yamamoto," she called out, her voice tight with tension. "They're here." Yamamoto rushed to her side, followed closely by General Hawthorne. They watched in awe as the first images of the alien ships came into focus. The vessels were massive, sleek, and unlike anything humans had ever constructed. They moved with an eerie grace, effortlessly slipping into Earth orbit. "My God," Hawthorne whispered. "How many are there?" Elena's fingers flew over her keyboard. "I'm counting at least 50 capital ships, with hundreds of smaller craft. Their technology, it's beyond anything we've ever seen." As they watched, the largest of the alien ships began to move into position directly over the United Nations headquarters in New York City. The message was clear: they were here to talk, or to demand Earth's surrender. Yamamoto turned to face the room, his expression grim but determined. "This is it, people. Everything we've prepared for comes down to this moment. Whatever happens next, remember this: we are humanity. We've faced impossible odds before and emerged victorious. We will not go quietly into the night. We will stand together, and we will show these visitors what it means to be human." As if in response to his words, the comm systems suddenly crackled to life. A voice, alien yet somehow understandable, filled the room. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Imperium. Your planet is now under our control. Resistance is futile. Prepare to receive your new masters." The invasion of Earth had begun, but humanity was ready to fight back, armed with courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable spirit. The greatest battle in human history was about to unfold, and the fate of our species hung in the balance. First contact. The alien transmission echoed across every communication channel on Earth, its message chilling and clear. In the tense silence that followed, humanity stood at a crossroads. At GSON headquarters, Director Yamamoto exchanged glances with General Hawthorne. "We need to respond," he said firmly, "but not from a position of weakness." Hawthorne nodded, her jaw set. "I'll contact the Security Council. We need a united front." Within minutes, world leaders convened in an emergency virtual session. Despite their differences, they all understood the gravity of the situation. After a brief but intense debate, a consensus was reached. The President of the African Union, Dr. Amina Okafor, was chosen to deliver humanity's response. As billions watched, Dr. Okafor's calm, resolute face appeared on screens worldwide. She addressed not just her fellow humans, but the alien forces looming above. To the representatives of the Galactic Imperium, she began, her voice steady and clear. "We, the people of Earth, hear your words, but we reject your claim of control over our world. Earth is our home, and we will defend it. We extend an invitation for peaceful dialogue, but make no mistake, we are prepared to resist any attempt at conquest." In orbit, aboard the Imperium's flagship, Overlord Zixar watched the human response with a mixture of amusement and irritation. These primitives dared to defy the mighty Imperium. It was almost admirable, if utterly foolish. "Prepare a landing party," Zixar commanded. "It's time we showed these humans the futility of their defiance." Back on Earth, as tensions mounted, An unexpected hero emerged. In a small lab in Tokyo, robotics engineer Hideo Tanaka made a breakthrough that would change the course of the coming conflict. Hideo had been working on advanced AI and nanotechnology, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. As news of the alien arrival broke, he had a moment of inspiration. What if he could create a swarm of nanobots, controlled by a highly adaptive AI, capable of interfacing with and potentially disrupting alien technology? Working around the clock, fueled by a potent mixture of fear, excitement, and caffeine, Hideo refined his creation. By the time the Imperium's landing craft descended towards New York, his nanoswarm was ready for its first test. In New York, the streets were eerily empty as the alien ship touched down in Central Park. A delegation of world leaders, flanked by military personnel, waited nervously. Among them was Dr. Elena Kovacs, there to provide scientific expertise. The ship's ramp lowered, and out stepped Overlord Zixar, flanked by guards. The alien was tall, with iridescent skin and multiple eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Despite the tension, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at this first close encounter. Zixar spoke, his words translated by an advanced device. "Humans, your bravado is misplaced. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your primitive weapons and technology are no match for the might of the Imperium. Surrender now, and you may yet have a place in our galaxy-spanning empire." Before any human could respond, a commotion erupted from within the alien ship. Sparks flew, and strange alarms blared. Zixar turned, his many eyes widening in surprise. Unbeknownst to the aliens, Hideo's nanoswarm had been deployed. The microscopic robots had infiltrated the ship's systems, gathering data and causing subtle malfunctions. It wasn't enough to disable the craft entirely, but it sent a clear message. Humanity was not as primitive as the Imperium believed. Elena, recognizing what was happening, stepped forward. "It seems, Overlord, that you've underestimated us. Perhaps we have more to offer than you realize." Zixar's expression was unreadable, but there was a new note of uncertainty in his voice. "What trickery is this?" "Not trickery," Elena replied calmly. "Just a small demonstration of human ingenuity. We may not have conquered 1,000 worlds, but we've learned to make the most of what we have. We're not interested in surrender. We're interested in survival, progress, and yes, even peaceful coexistence if that's possible. But make no mistake, we will fight if we must." The standoff in Central Park marked a turning point. The Imperium had expected an easy conquest, but now faced a species more resourceful and determined than they had anticipated. As news of the encounter spread, it galvanized humanity. People who had been paralyzed by fear found new courage. Scientists and engineers redoubled their efforts, inspired by Hideo's breakthrough. Military strategists began to see possibilities where before they had only seen hopeless odds. In the days that followed, a strange dance began. The Imperium, wary now of human capabilities, held back from full-scale invasion. Instead, they probed Earth's defenses, testing for weaknesses. Humanity, for its part, continued to prepare, all while trying to gather more information about their would-be conquerors. Hideo's nanoswarm proved invaluable in this intelligence-gathering effort. The tiny robots, now constantly improved and replicated, infiltrated Imperium ships and systems, feeding a wealth of data back to Earth's scientists. Dr. Samantha Chen and her quantum physics team made another breakthrough, managing to briefly teleport a small object into an Imperium ship. The test was a success, opening up new tactical possibilities that the aliens couldn't anticipate. Meanwhile, Dr. Rajesh Patel's atmospheric towers were repurposed into a planetary shield network. While not impenetrable, the electromagnetic field they generated could significantly disrupt Imperium sensors and weapons. But it wasn't just the scientific community making strides. Around the world, people from all walks of life contributed to the defense effort in ways big and small. Farmers worked to secure and increase food production. Hackers formed global networks to bolster cybersecurity and probe for alien tech weaknesses. Artists and writers created works that boosted morale and unity. In orbit, Commander Yuki Tanaka and her crew on the International Space Station played a dangerous game of cat and mouse with Imperium patrols, gathering crucial intelligence on ship movements and capabilities. As the stalemate stretched into weeks, Overlord Zixar grew increasingly frustrated. The Imperium's reputation was at stake. Easy conquests were their hallmark, and this prolonged resistance was unprecedented. In a secure bunker deep beneath Geneva, General Hawthorne addressed a council of Earth's military leaders. "We've bloodied their nose, and they don't like it. But make no mistake, they're regrouping, adapting. Our next moves will be crucial." Dr. Elena Kovacs, now a key figure in Earth's defense strategy, spoke up. "We've learned so much about their technology, thanks to Hideo's nanoswarm. But there's still one big question. Why here? Why Earth? Understanding their true motives could be key to our survival." As if in answer to her question, at that very moment, Hideo's nanoswarm made its most significant discovery yet. Deep within the Imperium flagship, the tiny robots uncovered information that would change everything. The real reason for the Imperium's invasion of Earth. The revelation would shock both humanity and the Imperium itself, setting the stage for a conflict that would determine not just the fate of Earth, but potentially the entire galaxy. As alarms blared and data streamed in, humanity steeled itself for the next phase of the battle. The Imperium had come expecting an easy conquest, but they had found instead a species united, innovative, and unwilling to go quietly into the night. The true test was yet to come, but one thing was certain. Humanity would not make their victory easy. The battle begins. The revelation uncovered by Hideo's nanoswarm sent shockwaves through Earth's defense command. Hidden deep within the Imperium's databanks was the true reason for their invasion. Earth's unique position in the galaxy made it the key to unlocking an ancient alien superweapon, one capable of reshaping the very fabric of space-time. Dr. Elena Kovacs' eyes widened as she processed the information. "They're not just here to conquer us," she breathed. "They want to use our planet as a key to dominate the entire galaxy." General Hawthorne's face hardened. "Then we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. The fate of the galaxy rests on our shoulders." As this information was disseminated to world leaders, a grim determination settled over humanity. The stakes were higher than anyone could have imagined, but so too was the resolve to resist. Overlord Zixar, unaware that his true motives had been discovered, had finally lost patience. The order was given. Full-scale invasion would commence at dawn. As the first light of day broke over the horizon, the skies above Earth erupted in chaos. Imperium warships descended, their weapons blazing with energy humans had never before witnessed. But Earth was not defenseless. Dr. Rajesh Patel's atmospheric towers sprang to life, generating an electromagnetic field that crackled with power. Imperium ships approaching too closely found their systems malfunctioning, some spiraling out of control. In orbit, Commander Yuki Tanaka and her crew on the International Space Station became humanity's eyes in the sky. Using the quantum communication breakthrough developed by Dr. Samantha Chen, they relayed real-time intelligence to defense forces around the globe. Imperium forces concentrating over North America and Asia, Yuki reported, her voice tense but controlled. "They're trying to establish beachheads." On the ground, the battle was just as fierce. In the streets of New York, Tokyo, and other major cities, human forces clashed with Imperium ground troops. The aliens' advanced weaponry was fearsome, but they found themselves constantly frustrated by the unpredictable and adaptable tactics of their human opponents. Hideo Tanaka's nanoswarm proved to be humanity's secret weapon. The microscopic robots infiltrated Imperium battle armor and vehicles, causing malfunctions and gathering crucial tactical data. In Beijing, an entire battalion of alien walkers suddenly froze mid-stride, their systems corrupted by the swarm. But the Imperium was far from defeated. Their numbers were vast, and their technology still outstripped humanity's in many ways. For every small victory humans claimed, the aliens seemed to push back twice as hard. In the skies over London, British Royal Air Force pilot Zahra Hassan found herself in a dogfight unlike any in human history. Her fighter jet, retrofitted with reverse-engineered alien tech, danced through the air in a deadly ballet with Imperium fighters. "They're fast," Zahra reported back to base, her voice tight with concentration. "But they're not creative. They rely too much on their tech. We can outmaneuver them." As if to prove her point, Zahra expertly looped behind an enemy fighter, using a gutsy maneuver that no training simulation could have predicted. Her shot struck true, and the alien craft spiraled towards the ground. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, another battle was unfolding. The Imperium, seeking to disable Earth's communication networks, had targeted the undersea cables that formed the backbone of the global internet. But they hadn't counted on the ingenuity of marine biologist Dr. Carlos Mendoza and his team. Months before the invasion, they had been working on a project to communicate with whales. Now that research was repurposed into an organic living communication network. Pods of whales, their songs carrying data encrypted in frequencies the Imperium couldn't detect, became Earth's backup communication system. It was a solution so unexpected, so uniquely Earth, that the aliens never saw it coming. As the battle raged on, both sides took heavy losses. Imperium ships fell from the sky, leveling city blocks. Human defenders fought valiantly, but were often overwhelmed by superior firepower. The planet itself seemed to groan under the strain of the conflict, with climate patterns shifting erratically in response to the massive energy discharges. In Geneva, the war room was a hive of activity. General Hawthorne coordinated global defense efforts, her face grim but determined. "We're holding our own," she reported to the assembled world leaders, "but we can't keep this up forever. We need a game changer." That game changer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Samantha Chen, working with a team of international scientists, had made a breakthrough in her quantum entanglement research. "We can do more than just communicate," she announced, her eyes bright with excitement despite her exhaustion. "We think we can create localized disruptions in space-time." The implications were staggering. If it worked, they could create bubbles where the laws of physics themselves could be temporarily altered. Imperium weapons could be rendered useless, or their ships could find themselves suddenly out of phase with normal space. As the scientists rushed to weaponize this discovery, the tide of battle began to shift. Humanity, against all odds, was pushing back the invaders. But Overlord Zixar was far from defeated. From his flagship in high orbit, he watched the conflict with growing rage. These humans were proving to be far more troublesome than any species the Imperium had ever encountered. It was time to unveil their ultimate weapon. As night fell on the seventh day of continuous battle, a massive Imperium ship, larger than any seen before, emerged from hyperspace. Its purpose was clear: to begin the process of activating Earth itself as the key to the ancient superweapon. Alarms blared in command centers around the world. This was the moment of truth. Everything humanity had fought for, every sacrifice made, had led to this point. The final battle for Earth and the galaxy was about to begin. Dr. Elena Kovacs, looking at the readings from the massive ship, felt a chill run down her spine. "Whatever they're planning," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "we have to stop it, no matter the cost." As the enormous Imperium vessel began to power up, casting an ominous glow over the planet, humanity steeled itself for the fight of its life. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy hung in the balance. And in this darkest hour, the true strength of the human spirit was about to be tested like never before. Turning the tide. The massive Imperium ship loomed over Earth, its ominous presence a stark reminder of the stakes at hand. In war rooms and laboratories across the globe, humanity's best and brightest worked feverishly to find a way to stop the impending activation of the ancient superweapon. Dr. Elena Kovacs, her eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep, pored over the data streaming in from Hidio's nanoswarm. "There's got to be a weakness," she muttered, "something we've overlooked." Suddenly, her eyes widened. "Wait a minute. Director Yamamoto, General Hawthorne, I think I found something." As Elena explained her discovery, a plan began to take shape. It was audacious, perhaps even foolhardy, but it was the best hope they had. Meanwhile, high above the Earth, Commander Yuki Tanaka and her crew on the International Space Station prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. They had volunteered to be the tip of the spear in humanity's counterattack. "Remember," Yuki told her team, her voice steady despite the fear she felt, "timing is everything. We get one shot at this." The plan was multi-pronged and relied on split-second timing. Dr. Samantha Chen's quantum disruption technology would be used to create a momentary bubble around the Imperium's massive ship, isolating it from its fleet. In that moment of confusion, Yuki and her team would use the station's newly modified thrusters, enhanced with reverse-engineered alien tech, to ram the Imperium vessel at near-light speed. But that was just the beginning. The real key to the plan lay with Hidio's nanoswarm and Dr. Rajesh Patel's atmospheric towers. As the hour of reckoning approached, tension mounted across the globe. In cities and towns, in bunkers and bases, humans from all walks of life held their breath, knowing that everything hinged on what would happen next. Overlord Zixar, confident in his impending victory, began the activation sequence for the superweapon. The massive ship hummed with power, energy crackling across its surface. That was when humanity struck. In a blinding flash, Dr. Chen's quantum bubble sprang into existence around the Imperium vessel. For a fraction of a second, it was cut off from the rest of its fleet, its sensors scrambled. In that moment, the International Space Station, pushed to speeds it was never designed to achieve, slammed into the side of the alien ship. The impact was catastrophic for both vessels, but it had the desired effect. The activation sequence was disrupted. As alarms blared across the Imperium fleet, the second phase of the plan kicked into action. Dr. Patel's atmospheric towers, spread across the globe, fired up to full power. But instead of creating a defensive shield, they began to generate a carefully tuned electromagnetic pulse. This pulse served as a carrier wave for Hidio's nanoswarm. Trillions of microscopic robots, riding the electromagnetic wave, washed over the Imperium fleet. They infiltrated every ship, every system, carrying with them a payload of disinformation and corrupted code. Across the Imperium fleet, chaos reigned. Ships fired on each other, navigation systems went haywire, and communication channels were flooded with nonsense data. On the ground, human forces seized the moment. Led by unlikely heroes like RAF pilot Zara Hassan, now commanding a squadron of fighters retrofitted with alien tech, they pushed back against the confused Imperium ground forces. In the oceans, Dr. Carlos Mendoza's whale network continued to coordinate human counterattacks, completely undetected by the alien invaders. But the battle was far from over. Overlord Zixar, enraged by this unexpected turn of events, ordered his flagship to descend into Earth's atmosphere. If he couldn't have the superweapon, he would rain destruction upon this troublesome planet himself. As the massive ship breached the atmosphere, the skies turned red with fire. The heat of its entry melted buildings and boiled oceans. It seemed that in his final act, Zixar would succeed in destroying the very prize he sought to claim. In a secret bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Kovacs watched the unfolding catastrophe with growing horror. But then, an idea struck her, a desperate, crazy idea. The ship's entry is causing massive atmospheric disruption, she explained hurriedly to General Hawthorne. If we can use Dr. Patel's towers to amplify that disruption in just the right way. Understanding dawned on the general's face. We could tear the ship apart with its own energy. Across the globe, the order went out. Every atmospheric tower, every power plant, Every device capable of generating an electromagnetic field was turned to full power, tuned to a frequency calculated by Alina and her team. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The sky itself seemed to ripple and tear. Zixar's flagship, caught in a maelstrom of electromagnetic energy, began to break apart. Massive chunks of alien metal rained down, but thanks to the coordinated efforts of defense forces guided by Yuki's surviving crew, now safely evacuated, casualties were minimized. As the remainder of the Imperium fleet, still reeling from the nanoswarm attack, watched their leader's ship disintegrate, a new transmission cut across all frequencies. It was Dr. Amina Okafor, the president of the African Union, who had first responded to the Imperium's demands. Imperium forces, she began, her voice unwavering. You came to our world seeking easy conquest. You found instead a species united, innovative, and unwilling to submit. We have defeated your leader and your greatest weapon. Leave now and never return. The people of Earth will defend our home, no matter the cost. For a moment, the world held its breath. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, the Imperium ships began to retreat. Humanity had won. As the last alien ship disappeared from Earth's skies, a cheer went up across the globe. In the face of overwhelming odds, humanity had not only survived but triumphed. But even as celebration erupted, the leaders of Earth knew that this was not the end, but a beginning. The galaxy now knew of Earth's existence, and of the ancient superweapon hidden within its core. Whatever came next, humanity would face it as a united species, tempered by conflict and ready to take its place among the stars. In Geneva, as the sun rose on a scared but undefeated Earth, General Hawthorne turned to Dr. Alina Kovacs. "Well, Doctor," she said with a tired smile, "it seems we have a lot of work ahead of us." Alina nodded, her mind already racing with the possibilities that alien technology and the revelation of Earth's importance could bring. "Indeed we do, General. Indeed we do." As the new day dawned, humanity looked to the stars not with fear, but with hope and determination. The battle was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. Triumph of humanity. In the weeks following the Imperium's retreat, Earth began the monumental task of rebuilding. The scars of battle were evident across the globe. Craters where alien ships had fallen, cities partially leveled by the conflict. But amidst the destruction, there was an undeniable sense of hope and unity. The revelation of Earth's importance in the galaxy and the existence of the ancient superweapon hidden within its core had profound implications. Humanity now knew it was not alone in the universe, and more importantly, that it had the strength to stand against even the most formidable of foes. In a repurposed conference room at HFY headquarters, now serving as the center for Earth's new Interstellar Relations Committee, Dr. Alina Kovacs addressed a gathering of world leaders and scientific minds. "The Imperium's invasion," she began, her voice steady, "while devastating, has provided us with an unprecedented opportunity. The alien technology we've acquired, combined with our own innovations born of necessity, has advanced our scientific understanding by centuries, if not millennia." Director Yamamoto nodded in agreement. "Our victory was not just a military one, but a triumph of human ingenuity and spirit. We must ensure that this spirit of cooperation and innovation continues to guide us forward." Indeed, the aftermath of the invasion saw a new era of global cooperation. Old rivalries and conflicts seemed petty in the face of what humanity had endured together. A new world government was forming, not to replace individual nations, but to unite them in common purpose as humanity looked to the stars. Dr. Hideo Tanaka's nanoswarm technology was being adapted for peaceful purposes, revolutionizing medicine and manufacturing. Dr. Samantha Chen's quantum entanglement breakthroughs were paving the way for faster-than-light communication and, potentially, travel. Commander Yuki Tanaka, hailed as a hero for her role in the space station Gambit, now led Earth's first true space fleet. Ships reverse-engineered from Imperium technology and enhanced with human innovations were under construction in orbiting shipyards. But it wasn't just in the realms of science and technology that humanity was advancing. The shared experience of the invasion had led to a cultural renaissance. Art, music, and literature flourished, exploring themes of unity, resilience, and the vast possibilities of the cosmos. Dr. Carlos Mendoza's whale communication network had opened up new avenues of understanding between humans and Earth's other sentient species. There was a growing movement to extend rights and protections to dolphins, whales, and other intelligent creatures, recognizing that Earth's strength lay in all its inhabitants. However, not all was peaceful in the aftermath of victory. The knowledge of the superweapon hidden within Earth's core was both a blessing and a curse. While it had been the key to the Imperium's defeat, it also made Earth a potential target for other alien civilizations. In a high-security facility beneath the Himalayas, General Hawthorne oversaw the development of Earth's new defense systems. "We won this battle," she reminded her team, "but the war to protect our planet, and potentially the galaxy, is just beginning." Research into the nature of the superweapon was ongoing, led by an international team of scientists. The goal was not to activate it. The potential for destruction was too great, but to understand and potentially neutralize it, removing the target from Earth's back. As Earth's first interstellar embassy took shape on the Moon, preparing to receive delegations from other alien races who had heard of humanity's defeat of the mighty Imperium, Dr. Amina Okafor prepared to address the United Nations. "Fellow citizens of Earth," she began, her words broadcast to every corner of the globe, "we stand at a turning point in our history. We have faced the greatest threat our species has ever known, and we have emerged victorious. But our victory brings with it great responsibility." She paused, looking out over the assembled leaders and the cameras broadcasting her words across the world. "We now know that we are not alone in this vast universe. We know that we have the strength, the ingenuity, and the spirit to stand among the stars. But we must move forward not with arrogance, but with wisdom. Let our victory over the Imperium not be the end of our unity, but the beginning. Let it remind us always that when we stand together, when we combine our strengths and embrace our differences, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As we look to the stars, let us carry with us the best of what it means to be human, our curiosity, our compassion, our unyielding hope for a better tomorrow. The galaxy awaits, and humanity is ready to take its place among the cosmos." As Okafor's words rang out, people across the Earth felt a surge of pride and purpose. From the bustling streets of rebuilt cities to the quiet labs where the future was being forged, a new sense of possibility took hold. In orbit, aboard humanity's first true interstellar vessel, Commander Yuki Tanaka looked down at the blue marble of Earth. Beside her stood Dr. Elena Kovacs, preparing for humanity's first diplomatic mission to a nearby alien civilization that had reached out in the wake of the Imperium's defeat. "Ready?" Yuki asked, a smile playing on her lips. Elena nodded, her eyes bright with excitement and determination. "Ready. Let's show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As the ship's engines flared to life, propelling them towards the unknown, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of an entire species. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, more united, and ready to forge its destiny among the stars. The Imperium had come to conquer Earth, but in doing so, they had unleashed something far greater, the full potential of humanity. As the ship disappeared into the depths of space, it marked not an ending, but a new beginning. The greatest adventure in human history was just getting started, and the entire galaxy would never be the same.